Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Suit Up, the Warframe frame review series. Today we're going to be revisiting a frame I've already done an episode on, but now has got a shiny new primed version. We're of course talking about Trinity Prime. Trinity Prime ended up as one of the worst kept secrets in the history of the Prime frames, yet the hype was as real at launch as it was with any other Prime frame. So what were we hyped about? And what upgrades has she got over the standard frame? Well, let's start with the cosmetics because, wow, just wow. Trinity Prime looks absolutely amazing. And the fact that DE took the running joke about Trinity's lobster tail and primed it and just ran with it is incredible and testament to just how in tune with the community DE really are. And when you add to that easily my favourite primed helmet ever, she looks absolutely fantastic, especially with all those cloth physics. And I think she has easily gone to the top of my list of my favourite looking frames in the game. In addition to that, she's got an increase in her base shields to 450 at rank 30, as well as a 0.1 sprint speed increase. And obviously the interaction with the Void Death Orbs giving 250 energy to surrounding enemies when she touches them. Now this is a pretty stark difference to some of the over-the-top Prime upgrades we've had in recent times. No insane energy increases or anything, and I really think that this is just the right amount of buff over the standard frame, especially when you take into account the additional V and dash polarity on her. Now in terms of abilities, I'm not going to go into them again here. Literally nothing has changed, so if you want to take a look at those, there's a link in the description below to the original video. Now the one thing I am going to quickly talk about is the use of Well of Life combined with Energy Vampire. This is something that I didn't really talk about in my previous video, which was the strength of this combo. If you cast Well of Life and then about half a second before the duration of Well of Life ends, you cast Energy Vampire, the ticks are absolutely insanely huge. To the extent where I've seen it do 1 billion damage on those seriously high level enemies, making for one of the best scaling damage dealing abilities in the game, or combos in the game, which is absolutely crazy when you consider one of the abilities is supposed to be for healing, and one is supposed to be for providing energy to allies. Okay, so let's move on to starting to mod Trinity Prime. Now she comes with 2 Ds, a V and a dash as standard, with a D in the aura slot. We're going to add 3 former. I've changed the aura slot to a dash. I've put a dash in the Exilus, and I've also added another V. Now the reason I changed the aura to a dash is because if you're going to be doing high-end runs, which with Trinity Prime and Trinity you will do fairly often, unfortunately against the Grineer and against the Corrupted, corrosive projection becomes mandatory. So the problem with this at the right now, and this is actually a problem with the aura system as a whole, that because of corrosive projection, you pretty much have to form the aura to a dash almost every single time, which is kind of frustrating, and it would be nice to be able to use something else. The Exilus slot, I found that the dash was probably the best in terms of the Exilus, because if you got enemy sense in there, you could switch it out for handspring. If you're doing loot runs, you could switch it out for Master Thief. I don't have a 1 max at the moment, but you could put Mobilize in there. If you wanted to use one of the damage mods, you could put obviously Toxic Flight in there. You've got Thief's Wit. You've got Rush if you wanted to be faster. In my opinion, all of the best of the Exilus mods are that dash polarity. So having the dash in the Exilus is absolutely fantastic, and I find it to be very, very useful. Now in terms of the actual builds themselves, this is my EV and sort of EV Well of Life combo type build. So on this we've got Vitality for a little bit of the survivability. Overextended and Stretch to give maximum range, Blind Rage and Transient Fortitude to give as much power as possible, Natural Talent to speed up the casting animation, Prime Flow obviously so we can build up an additional barrier of energy. It's not exactly needed, but it is very, very helpful, and we've also got Fleeting Expertise on here. Now the reason I've gone with this, normally obviously you don't really need Fleeting Expertise because you're going to be gaining enough energy back to cover your costs in the first place, but I've gone with Fleeting Expertise to reduce that duration down to 12%. Now basically what this means is Because with the EV Well of Life combo you need to wait until like half a second before Well of Life finishes. If you don't have fleeting expertise on there, it works out about 6 or 7 seconds. And then you've got, so basically you've got to wait like 6 or 7 seconds, and then half a second before the Well of Life ends, you've got to cast EV. But because of the really ridiculously low duration, you just cast Well of Life and EV immediately, and then basically you do the damage very, very quickly. Just means there's no delay between actually needing to do the Well of Life and the EV. Just makes everything very, very compact, very focused. You can put out a lot of damage very quickly. It speeds up the ticks, obviously, on the EV as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So this build I found to be really, really, really helpful for those EV type builds. Now this build remains exactly the same from my previous video. This is the self-damage 99% blessing Trin. Exactly the same. We've got redirection, we've got natural talent, intensify to bring the blessing up to 100%, quick thinking to work obviously with the damage reduction so you don't kill yourself all the time, prime flow, which is also going to help with that, narrow-minded, narrow-minded and prime continuity for the extra duration, and streamline just to give it a little bit of power efficiency. And for the final build, this is the Link build. This is the one that's changed the most for me. Beforehand, I had overextended on here, as well as stretch. I didn't really like it that much. To be honest, I feel that stretch is enough for the Link, which means I could actually go and I could put extra duration on there. So basically, now I can go Vitality, Quick Thinking. We've got Prime Continuity for duration, as well as Constitution. We've got Rage, which is going to increase our energy every time we take health damage, which is going to work with Prime Flow, as well as Energy Vampire, to really make this as tanky as possible. And obviously we've got Prime Continuity, Constitution, to really make the duration as long as possible. You could, of course, go with Narrow-Minded as well, but because it drops the power range a lot, I didn't really enjoy that. And obviously intensifies on there just to make sure that the power strength is enough that when you cast the blessing, it gives you 100% every single time. And this I found to be a really seriously tanky build, and one that I've been having a ton of fun on recently. So do I think that Trinity Prime is worth the farm and the former? And the answer to that is, of course, a huge yes. Trinity is it's one of those frames in the game that is so incredibly versatile. Not only can she be a constant source of energy for the entire team, she can provide damage reduction to an insane level, 99% damage reduction, and she can easily become one of the strongest tanks in the game, all when modded correctly. I've played a reasonable amount of Trinity since the original video, and that has led to the evolution of my builds a bit, as well as talking to those that know Trinity better than I do. A Trinity is an asset to literally every single group, and a good Trinity can be the difference between a 20-minute run and a 1-hour run, or even beyond. She is that powerful. Okay, her RNG right now can be painful on those void parts, and I can attest to that. If not for you incredible people, I'd still be farming the parts for her, because my luck was horrendous, and this video would be way later than it already is. But you all know how good and how I feel about Trinity and how good she is. So hang in there, the farm and the RNG might be painful, but oh man, do you get an incredible looking gem at the end of it. As always guys, many thanks for watching. Feel free to check out the plaque giveaway that I've got running right now and take a look at that. I'm really interested to hear what you're looking forward to in update 18, since that's obviously how you enter that video. And always guys, I shall see you in the next video.